On this podcast, we often talk about the impact on caregivers. And we've had several episodes about caring for the caregivers, right? We kind of, because we wonder, what does caregiving really do to a person emotionally? And how do people continue after they've lost the person they've been caring for? In this episode, we get to meet Angela Nissel. She shares a really wonderful, deeply honest story behind her memoir, which I love the title of, Good Grief, Pass the Bread, Mom is Dead, where she explores the complicated emotional terrain that many caregivers quietly carry: exhaustion, love, resentment, humor, guilt, tenderness, and heartbreak, all existing at once and being held by those caregivers all at once. It's amazing. It's very complex and really fascinating conversation.
Yeah, good. Some of the key pieces that Angela, Ana Luisa, and Wakil will touch on today are caregiving for aging or sick parents, or anyone really, anticipatory grief before death, losing a parent, specifically a mother in this case, and navigating that particular grief, a caregiver burnout and emotional exhaustion, humor as a coping tool during grief. Thank God for that.
Right.
The ways family relationships are impacted during illness and the relational dynamics therein. So whether you're currently caregiving, grieving the loss of your own parent, supporting a loved one through an illness, or just recognizing the loneliness that is often a part of caregiving, burnout, and grief, spoiler alert, the episode offers a compassionate and grounded conversation about what caregiving really asks of people and ways to stay present and support other caregivers too.
Yeah, so important. So
yeah, stay tuned.
Look forward to this conversation. Yeah, stay tuned. Welcome, everybody, and thanks for joining us today. We are so looking forward to speaking with author Angela Nissel. Angela is an award-winning author of 3 books, including the national best-selling memoir, The Broke Diaries, and her latest, which is what really got us interested in talking to her, called Good Grief, Pass the Bread, Mom is Dead. What a cool title.
It is.
That came out just this week, I believe. And we'll link, of course, to the podcast notes to it, and you'll be able to get it, pick it up yourselves. Her work has been praised as fiercely honest, deeply moving, and laugh out loud funny, often all at once. And from what I've read, I would totally agree with that.
I can't wait. Ooh. Angela seamlessly translated her distinct voice to television, launching her Hollywood career on Scrubs in 2002. Over the past 2 decades, she has written and produced on a wide range of acclaimed series, including The Boondocks, Ginny and Georgia, and The Other Black Girl, earning a reputation for blending sharp humor with emotional depth. Born and raised in Philadelphia, Angela still carries that energy with her. I can see that. Whether she's covered in dog hair at home or throwing elbows at the Goodwill bins in pursuit of a great find by the pound. Girl, I am your sister.
Yes, ma'am. Wait, I saw your face when I said, oh, yeah, we got to talk.
Oh, yeah. No, even better. Today is like large item pickup day in my town. And so on my dog walk, I picked up a vintage chandelier that I hauled home. So.
Wait, girl, I got a whole patio set last week.
No, we're sisters. I know.
All right,
I see you.
All right.
All right.
I'm going to be very careful not to go thrifting with either of you. I think I'd be the elbows,
Yeah. Well, then, yeah. I'm not an elbow gal, but you know what? The mystery provides. That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
yes.
It really does.
The Goodwill bins are a different breed of thrifting, I'll say. Sometimes it gets rough in there.
I don't do that. I'm like, you really want this? No, thank you. But tell us what inspired your work and the desire to share your stories. Tell me more.
I wanted to share my story because nobody, not even my mom, who's an RN and should know about life and death and all the illnesses that come between, prepared me for her own death, or even brought up that she might die one day. You just glide through. I mean, in my telling of the story, I found that a lot of moms do this too. And my mom hid her breast cancer from me. So you talk about,
Wow.
yes, it was, I mean, hid it physically, covered up her, breasts where they used to be with scarves and just
Mm.
Mm.
really, I had never had a talk about death, had tons of
Mhm.
talks about childbirth plans, even though I don't have a child, but no
Mhm.
one talked to me about death plans. So I had to get it
Mm.
all together in like 2 weeks.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
You really jumped in. There's
Wow,
no doubt
yes.
about it. Right. Well, that's great, and I thank you for sharing that. And just to say, when I was looking at the excerpts I got to read, that it did sound like just all of a sudden you're in it, you're in the middle of it, and now you've got to figure out how to be a caregiver, which we talk about a lot on this thing. Is that caregivers are working hard, and not
Mhm.
to have any way, not to have guidance, or nobody tells us about how do you do that, right? It's like it is. There's not really any good books about how to be a parent either that I found, although maybe a few, but no, the kids don't never generally come with a book, but yeah, jumping into the work of taking care of somebody who's dying is just incredible. First, that you did that, and second, that you did it without any kind of um, training, if you will, or conversation beforehand. And all we want to do here is talk about this stuff, so we talk about it all the time. So
Yes.
yeah,
It's, you know what I think, even with, because I've become weirdly too comfortable with the end of life now. And like I
right.
talk about things and people will be like,
Not
oh,
weird. Not
okay,
weird.
thank you. I was like, again, found my people. But
That's right.
and so even now when I talk to people who, because I lost my mom when I was 35 and now I'm 51, and a lot of my friends are starting to go through it. The
Mhm.
Mhm.
things that we read about caretaking are very, you should make sure you have this set up, make sure you have that set up, but not about the emotional weight and
Mhm.
how to just be present with someone when they
Mhm.
Yeah.
are at the end of their life or when they are very ill. We make it, at least the things I read, made it more of a checklist than just to
Hmm.
love up on each other and be there and
Right.
listen to each other. And I think I
Uh,
fell into that a
Yeah.
lot too.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's
Well,
one way of coping, I guess, is to just
Hmm.
have the checklists. But yeah, I love that you're bringing up how important it is to be present, to be human
right.
with each other. Can
Well,
you
and I
share? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead,
oh, I
Annalisa.
was just gonna say, it's we used to learn all this from our family members when people died in house,
Mm-hmm.
and there were conversations about the aunties and the uncles and the grandparents, right, or the neighbors, and
Mm-hmm.
so people had the kind of the ancestral knowledge of care taking at the end of life,
Mm-hmm.
caregiving, not
Mm-hmm.
taking, caregiving. And now we are in this culture of both get the checklist, do the checklist, but kind of divorce yourself from the emotional weight bearing that you're
Yeah.
doing. And
Yeah.
so I really am curious about this, like the checklist piece, because it is a thing people like to do, but it's not necessarily, it doesn't have the gird, the weight of what
Yeah.
you're actually doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, for me, I have spent my whole life as a checklist girl. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember when my mom, just how I was raised, make sure
Mhm.
you work hard, work hard, you'll
Hmm.
receive. And well, that wasn't true, but
Right, right.
but so I just thought, I'm going to be the best caregiver. I'm going to read what I can. But then I remember the hospice worker telling me, your job is to just be her daughter. And
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
that blew my mind because I honestly didn't know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What does that mean? And my mother was a very old school mother where children stay in their place, and there's no way I'm going to let you wipe my behind, I don't even
Mhm.
want to wear a
Mhm.
diaper. So
Mhm.
I just had to do things like I would walk around with my pants down so she could see my butt. So she wouldn't
Mhm.
like, it's just a butt. We all have them,
Mhm.
there's no
Mhm.
shame in letting me do this.
Yeah.
And having to think on the fly about how to give my mom, very to herself person, the best care I could. And
Right.
the hardest thing weren't the checklists. I could call the credit card companies, I could call and make her appointments and all this stuff, but learning how to deal with an individual personality that doesn't want to be taken care of.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
teaching her
Yeah.
that there's no shame, that I actually, when I tell you, And this is where I say that people think I'm weird sometimes. It was hard taking care of her. It was hard. It consumes your life.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the moments we had are some of my best memories with her. Instead of us both working and calling each other just to catch up on work and things that happened at work, that was our life before she got ill.
That's
Huh.
beautiful. Yeah, I love that. I think the other thing that we are what's lost in our culture is that community, that sense of community and village. You know, like you're saying, in normal in the days before capitalism and patriarchy, you know, and all this stuff that's created this separation, this sense that you got to take care of yourself and isolation. We talked to a man from Africa who said, when somebody dies in a village in Africa, the whole village comes together. The whole village knows about it, right? And we don't do that here. And we would probably, I mean, my neighbor upstairs could die, and I probably wouldn't even know. You know,
Right.
they whisk them away as quickly as possible in a gray van, and you just don't know it happened.
Right.
So yeah, it's a different culture, and without that support, you end
Right.
up with what you came into. You know, just like, I don't know what I'm here doing. You know, I don't know what this is. So
Right. Well, and the
yeah.
other side of that, the culture changing is like our hygienic
Mm,
modalities around bodies, right? Like you
yeah.
cover them, you don't share them, you have to excuse yourself because you're normal or you actually poop or you fart. Like it is really interesting how we don't do that on the regular with anyone. It's very shaming if it
Yeah.
happens on accident. And so when we have elders who are like this, or friends or family, it is really hard to caregive when there's just so much like, don't see me in my most vulnerable spaces.
Yes, yeah,
Hmm.
and when you just said that, it made me think about how easily my niece, especially when she was younger, would just say, "I have to fart, my butt itches,"
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
until we teach them, "Hey,
Yeah.
Right.
you can't talk about that in public." Why
Right.
Right.
That's
not?
it.
The world would be a
Right.
better place if we could all just,
Right.
"My butt itches right now, excuse me." I
Right.
mean,
Right. Right. Yeah, and it goes it's like the whole spectrum of like women's bodies and the
Hmm.
needs that it has and like aging bodies and babies poop and fart and dribble and vomit and we don't allow anybody else the 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 beingness
Yes,
at all.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Not to
And
mention crying.
oof, yes.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Um,
go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Wakil. I was going to say the challenges, but go ahead.
Well, I'm just curious if you have a moment when you were with your mom that you could relate that was something really important or really special. Maybe even if you've got the book, read from the book if you want, but just something that really stands out when you think about those experiences you had caring for her. If you want to.
Ooh, the overall thing that stands out for me is just the moment when I earned her trust that
Mm.
I, because again, she probably just looked at me like I wanted to drop out of high school to become a rapper. So she already had her, like, I don't know about, if you can do this. But just I remember giving her medication, making sure she got it,
Hmm.
and giving her whatever food she wanted. I feel like she kind of would tiptoe into what she wanted. And then one day she told me, I want some cheesecake. And so my mom is not the type of person, cheesecake is expensive, That's so, but I rushed out and I got her that cheesecake. And
Mm.
Mhm.
just the greatness, the gratefulness, and the look up. And she'd said to me for the
Mhm.
first time in my life, she said, "Wow, you really do love me, don't you?" And
Oh,
right? I thought, and I
wow.
thought, of course I love you.
Mhm.
Of course I love you.
Mm.
But the look when she said it, like,
Yeah.
and I realize now after talking to other parents, parents always don't think they did a good enough job. And
Mm.
that to her saying that wasn't that I never showed her I loved her before, but just she did a good job. She could take it in. She could see that I could be a caregiver like
Mhm.
she was her whole life, and it just
Mm.
Right.
filled me with such pride thinking about that. Like, of course I
Yes.
love you. Thanks for letting your
Yes.
guard down. Like, oh, just the love that was in that room the whole
Ugh.
time that
Yeah.
she was sick. And the ability to know that our bodies with the poops and the farts, they're just a shell. There was nothing else that
Mm-hmm.
taught me that more than just sitting there,
Oh, yeah.
because she was the same person and the energy in the room was always the same, whether
Mm-hmm.
she could talk or walk. And so I thought, wow, life is such a gift, but it's not all there is. And I had never
Mm-hmm.
thought about that until my
Mm-hmm.
mom got sick at all.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually kind of I love that moment that was so critical for your story making, in that the eyes of love showed up towards you,
Mhm.
whereas parents usually do that towards their babies. Like, we do what we can in those owie moments to like show up with those cheesecakes, but the reciprocity isn't necessarily considered as we age, right? Like, somebody would show up as I really think that is key to understanding how we transmit, as we age. There are younger people, there are our children who will be transmitting the skills that we've used on them. So
Mhm. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
love her.
Yes,
Yeah.
She
and
loved you.
and that, to me, when we talk
Mhm.
about the unchecked capitalism and how we don't, as a culture, view bodies as worth anything unless they can contribute and be productive.
Right.
My
Right.
husband and I have been thinking about that and talking about that a lot, and we've decided to uproot our life to be closer to his children because,
Mhm.
Mm.
like, yes, it's great that we can move across the country and if it makes you happy, but what really makes us happy now is
Mhm.
what you just said, making sure that the next generation, we pass
Mhm.
down that love and
Right.
how
Mhm.
to take care of each other. And he has a new
Right.
grandson, and
Yeah.
I'm the only grandmother on the paternal side. His wife passed away.
Mhm.
And just the look in that little 3-year-old baby's eyes when he says grandmom, and I'll do little things with him like we pretend DJ, and
Mhm.
DJ grandmom, and he does it right after me. I'm like, they are
Yeah.
sponges. I want
Yeah.
to put things into that sponge to make this
Yes.
world a better place.
Yes. Oh,
Amen. Amen.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, so I
Absolutely.
think that that's what we are failing to see in our, birthing, living, dying, circle of life, is that we do tend to our elders just as they tended us. And without that, it's like your comment made me also think about how many ways capitalism has also enforced not spending our time with our children to
Mhm.
be more productive, to make more
Yeah.
capital, right? And so that our children are bereft of this like knowledge of the
Absolutely.
lovingness that we have as parents. So
Yeah.
yes, we're onto
Yeah.
Yeah.
something.
You spoke to, because one of the things I talk about in my book, my mom was a single mother. And so one of the
Mm.
things I was most jealous of as a child was something that was called double overtime. And so she always, picked up those shifts. And
Oh, yeah.
I had, when I was
Mhm.
talking to my brother, we have more memories with the people who cared for us than we do our mom sometimes because she was
Yeah.
working so hard. And I honor that that's what she felt like she needed to do and probably did need to do in our
Right,
society.
right,
Yeah.
right.
But I've also thought, how much is enough for me to live on?
Mhm,
And that's why
mhm.
we're moving to Minnesota because it's much cheaper there. But it's
Uh-huh.
it's, I don't want anyone I love to look back and have to search for memories of me because I was trying to
Mhm,
get more and more so someone could have to
Mm.
clean it all out when I die. Like,
That's
mhm,
no,
right.
mhm.
like, I'm literally
Yeah.
like, I hope that people have a ball in my house when I die and all this stuff I
Mhm.
found on the curb. You know?
Yes. Me
Exactly.
too. I can't
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
I literally, I literally have
Yeah.
boxes called "Might not want to open this one, just trash it. This one might be worth something." Like, have a
Yeah.
party, have a party.
Yeah. I
I
love
love that.
that.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
so great. Yeah, so precious. I love the conversation that you had with your mom and that that opportunity for her to actually let you know that she
Mhm,
did trust you, that she did love you. I mean, that
mhm.
it's so sad that we lose that in our culture from the fact that, yeah, that people just have to go to work every day. I mean, that's
Mhm,
for me, it was my dad. I never saw him all my life pretty much because he was
Yeah,
mhm,
never
yeah.
home.
mhm.
He'd come home for some dinner and then sit down and watch TV. And that was it.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
the relationship just was much less than it could have been. And so
Right.
we need to reclaim that somehow. And I think it's a cultural thing as
Oh,
much as anything else.
It's a cultural, it's a capitalist thing too. I think a
Yeah.
lot of people are striving to tend to our babies, to tend to our hearth, and we need capital, and our bodies make capital, right? And
Yeah, yeah,
so we have to go away to do that.
yeah.
And one of the things that I've learned too is retired people are the happiest people in the world. I go to the dog park when the retired people are there, and I've learned so much from them. I've lived in Los Angeles for over 20 years and never went bird watching. And there's a man in the dog park. He's maybe like mid 70s. He's like, there's a Cooper's hawk. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is, but it's beautiful. And now I'm going to go home and look it up. But just the ability to decide what we want to do with our own time, I am aiming for that in whatever manner I can get it. Because it is so sad how we do not think about just the art of being a human being until
That's right.
at least for me, until something like this hits us in the face and we
Yeah.
stop being like, okay, boss, it feels, again, I'll use the word weird to say I'm so grateful, because if we all have to go, I learned this at a younger age than a lot of other people learned it at.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so true. And as probably the only retired person on the call here, I'll just say that I still stay very, very busy, but I stay busy in stuff I want to be busy with, right? And it's not, spending half my life on the freeway being clogged up waiting to get downtown, which I was so happy for. I hate going downtown. As much as possible, I don't do that anymore. But still, it's like our ministry now is this bringing of this conversation, right? And so that's pretty much where I spend all my time, which is, how beautiful is that? How blessed am I to be able to do that? And every time we finish our conversations on these podcasts, we look at each other like, oh my God, we're so lucky. Yeah.
You are. And here's one of the things I'll say. Thank you for your ministry, because there are a lot of people that I didn't learn until I was taking care of my mom
Yeah.
that look at end of life and caretaking as an opportunity to scam people.
Well, that.
Oh my God. Yes. Especially POC. I'm going to say it's a big deal.
Is going on? I'm just
Yeah.
like, and I know also it's funny, anything relating to our emotions, because you guys are real reverends. My mom married a guy who probably wasn't. It's in the book. But she fell in love, and it was just, he's closer to God. So she just thought anything he says is true. Then we ended up that's why I moved her off to Los Angeles. We were like, you had to change churches 3 times? Something's going on there. But then I talked to, after my mom passed, everyone's like, she's going to send you a sign, gifts from heaven, all this stuff. And I thought, I want my sign. So I hired a psychic who ended up talking to the wrong damn person. It wasn't my mom.
Oh my.
And I just thought, but it was the emotion of missing her. And I thought, I have never paid so much to one person in my life who couldn't even call the right heaven line. Like, what is
Yes. Well, and it speaks to like our emotional pieces that we want to hold on to, that we want connection. And yeah, maybe it's scammy, but you know what? Maybe you got to meet a very lonely ancestor.
Right.
You know what? You might be right. I love when somebody reframes something for me.
Yeah. Because there are lonely ancestors out in the world, people who
Sure.
also have died without anyone and are hoping somebody will commit to them.
Wow. I truly have never thought about that. Wow. And wow. No, you just blew my mind with that one. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you might have to go back and reach out again, right?
You know what? I've learned to just do it on my own.
That's what I was going to say. You don't have to you could just like write it down on a piece of paper and put it under your pillow for
and
dreaming.
just talk to them. I talk to her every morning, and I write in my gratitude journal, and it's funny when you try to force a sign. I think, at least in my experience, and even this is what the psychic who talked to, again, we're going to reframe it, talked to a lonely ancestor, because I love that, told me you can't expect people to be in the afterlife what they aren't in life.
Right.
So it's like, if my mom was reserved and shy, all of a sudden I'm not going to get the mom who's turning on and off the lights and makes birds fly into the house.
Yeah, that's right. So maybe your mom was like, you go talk to her.
Knowing my mom, she did. She'd be like, anybody else have something to say? I just spent the whole thing.
We have to be playful. We cannot, there's so much mystery. We just do not know. And we make these decisions, these we make the queries and then we don't like what we hear,
Yeah.
right? Because we're
Yeah.
like, it's not the way it should be because somebody else had it this way. It's like, wow, like that's interesting. Like, all right, tell me more.
Yes, you nailed it. I wanted to have the perfect experience. And I
Mhm.
wanted, and if this happens, I know my mom, I gave her a good death. And if this happens, and nothing in life goes like that. So why would we even
Angela,
pretend?
you gave your mother a great death. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for your
Yeah.
work.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
That's
Thank,
all.
and
absolutely.
I mean, and I know I have my death plan now. That's how I want
That's
to
good.
go,
Yeah.
surrounded by love. I think
Mhm.
Yeah.
the worst thing in the world would have been to get a phone call, your mom has passed. I mean, to be by somebody's side when they,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and to also see what she saw. My mom was very religious. I'm not quite as religious as her, to put it mildly, but to see that, and I'm sitting in the room that she passed away in, to
Mm.
see the room fill up with love, and to see her talking
Mhm.
to people that you can't tell me those people weren't there, whoever she
Yeah.
was talking to.
Mhm.
Mm.
In the book, you'll learn I've been in the psych ward. I know when people are talking to somebody that's not there.
Mhm. Mhm.
There was somebody, people there, and that she was not scared at
She
all.
was ushered in
Mm.
by
Yeah.
the community.
And
Yeah.
it was just any fear I had of it is just gone. It's like
Mhm.
I'm not rushing it, but I've never seen my mom so at peace in her life.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
she
Mhm.
was still verbal. She was still, but it was just like, wow, this isn't something to be afraid of.
Mhm.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Some of
love
the
it.
more
Yeah,
beautiful
you're
sacred
definitely my
moments.
sister.
Yeah.
So wait a second. So I'm going to jump into Wakil's because I've heard those challenges. But are you afraid of anything at the end of life?
I'm afraid of my family tossing away my plan and being like,
That's legit.
no, she can,
Yeah.
because from working on Scrubs, I remember talking to doctors because we had to consult with doctors a lot of times.
Mm.
And they always said, I don't want any of that end of life stuff. It's painful.
Right.
It's just horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And I think my family's good with it because my brother and my husband we've experienced death, but I'm just afraid of languishing and just not having that peaceful exit. I want everything my mom got. I want the lady coming in singing to me on the acoustic guitar, singing somewhere over the rainbow, I you know and because to me
Mm.
it's the it's birth but a different type. It's just.
Right.
And when I tell people there was absolutely no fear in my mom's eyes, the last thing she did, we held her hand and we said, Mom, because she's a tough one. She was hanging on for so long. And
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
the nurse said, you know, sometimes families wait or people wait until their family is out of the room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My brother and I wouldn't shower. We wouldn't do anything. This room was stinking up. And we were like, we're not leaving her side. But then my brother and I decided to just go out and just give the room, air it out a little bit, and that's when she started to
Yeah.
pass. So we came back in, and the nurse was literally holding her arm over the door, like, I think she's passing. We went, like, we're coming in there. And I just held her hand, said,
Mm-hmm.
Mom, it's okay. You can go. We're going to take care of each other. And the last thing she did, just one single tear. And I
Wow.
looked, and the
Mm.
hospice nurse was in tears, and it was just, there's something to. The hardest part was talking to people afterwards because it was so beautiful. We had been through the tears and the crying and the F cancer and
Mm-hmm.
so to see her after days of hanging on just release,
Mm-hmm.
there
Mm.
was a beauty in that.
Yeah.
And when I talk to people afterward to tell them, because you got to go back to the real world and tell people, yeah, she's passed away. People say like, oh, you don't sound too sad. And it's like, oh God, now I got to rearrange my voice because people don't want to
Yes.
hear
Yes.
that it was peaceful. It wasn't
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
like I write on TV and, there wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like, ah, or just, it was
Mm-hmm.
peaceful and people were not prepared to hear that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's so true. Yeah.
Wow.
Like it's always treated as a tragedy and very many times is actually very beautiful and sacred moment. So
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I love
like
that.
you
I love that
said,
you're making that point. Yeah.
and like you said, it's couple generations ago, it wasn't like this. I've heard people say, I would never buy a house where someone died. And well, you better not buy a house. That was like, we gotta like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I'm like, I actually would like to have a house that someone felt comfortable enough to have be surrounded by love and
Yeah.
died in, you know? Rather buy a
Yeah.
house where someone hated each other and like, you know, that energy's
Yeah.
still in there. Yeah.
Oh, so true. So true. So well said. Thank you. I love it. I love it. This has been so fun. I guess, is there anything that you wish we had asked you about? And actually, the other question we always love to hear from people is, how do you resource yourself? How do you take care of yourself when you're dealing? And while you're doing this with your mom, were there times that you just felt like I need to just go take a walk or hug a tree or kiss my dog or whatever? What kind of things really help you get through? Because so many people, I think, benefit from hearing how this
Yes.
works.
I would say, and I didn't do this well enough because I am my mother's daughter. Make sure that your friends are prepared for this and don't be afraid. If there's one time in your life you get to tell people, I don't need that, I need that, just bring me over some food. Don't ask me what type of, just send me a
Right.
DoorDash
Yeah.
gift certificate.
Right.
Please don't ask me what I need. Just do the basic human things: food, water,
Yeah,
hugs.
yeah. Wash the
And
dishes, right?
yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
If someone had came over and washed my dishes again, I didn't let people because it was, you got to do this by yourself. But just those things, be prepared, get your boundaries straight before you go into this job. That
So
would be
true.
my number one. And if you can afford to have any help, I was so lucky that by the time I got to caretake my mom, I did have a hospice nurse coming, even though I fought that, coming in for a few hours a day. And just
Mm,
knowing that someone else was there who would take care of her, probably a little better medically, in terms of like making sure she gets her medicine right on time, knowing things like her eye, when it flinches up like that, it's a little bit of pain, having someone there you can trust just meant the world to me. So I could go outside for a little bit,
mm.
even though I didn't want to ever leave her side.
Yeah, yeah, so beautiful and so important. We talk about that a lot, how many people don't take advantage of hospice until it's like a week left,
Yes.
and you could do 6 months or a year or 2 years, whatever. You can have that kind of loving, compassionate care for a long
Yes.
time.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't use that. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's so important.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, what do you wish we'd asked you?
I enjoyed this conversation so much. I really, there's nothing I wish you had asked me because I feel like I might
Well-
spoil the book.
No. Okay. All right. So don't spoil the book. So, are you going on tour? Are you doing a book tour?
Yes. We're just getting some dates up. If people are on
Oh, good.
Instagram, I literally have to make the graphic of where the dates are.
Okay.
Because my last book came out about 15 years ago, and it's whole different, it's a whole different
Yes.
world. We had tons of Barnes and Noble back then, and now it's like
Yeah.
there might be 3 in the country.
Right.
So it's like,
Well,
it's-
let's see if I can help you come to Denver. I know some folks
Yeah,
who
see
own
how-
bookstores.
I would absolutely. I've always wanted to come to Denver, to be honest. I would absolutely love it. I would love
All right.
it.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
see if I can reach out to a
Okay.
bookseller.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we got some great bookstores in Seattle too that we'd love to have you come to.
Oh,
Yeah.
anything. You guys, I'm
That
there.
would be
If you-
awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll post that link so people can find you and and keep track of that, so they can find out if you're coming to their story.
Awesome.
That's right.
Awesome.
To their story.
Do you
Yeah.
guys want me to read the poem my mom wrote?
Absolutely, that would be
Awesome.
lovely.
And here's what the thing is. She wrote this when she knew she was going to die, and
Hmm.
this affected me so much. And whenever I read it, it just reminds me that this is not the end. It's
Mhm.
called Places. It's in my book too.
Mhm.
Sometimes we wonder why a loved one is not allowed more time with us on earth. Sometimes we wonder why they are taken to heaven before us. Could it be that their energy is used to open the windows of heaven so that blessings can be poured out onto us? Could it be that their creativity is used to design imaginative dwellings so that when we get there, we will have comfort? Could it be that they were taken to heaven before us so that when we get there, we will recognize a familiar face and voice to smile at us and say to us, "You're here and I'm here, and never in eternity will we be parted."
Hmm.
Whoa. Oh, thank you. That's so beautiful. Never in an eternity will we be parted.
Never.
Yeah, may it be so.
And they're going
Yeah.
to be there to open up the windows,
I
I
know
love
they
that.
are.
the
I know
doors,
they are.
right?
Yes.
Pour down the
Yes.
blessings. Yeah.
Yes.
That's so beautiful. Well,
Mhm.
really appreciate you and
Thank
your
you so
work and
much.
yeah, it's been just a blast.
Thank
We
you. Thank you too.
really
I hope
enjoyed.
to actually meet you guys in person. You're wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That'd be awesome. We will
I
let
want
you
to go
know.
thrifting with you.
Oh, girl, we will.
Yeah, and I'm not going to get in the way. Conversations about the end of life. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you to Charles Heaston, the composer of the original music you are listening to now.
And of course, thanks to you, our audience, and all of our amazing guests. Please come back next week for another great episode. Share this with your friends, family, and community. We hope you will subscribe and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Substack. Each guest's additional information will be found in the podcast notes. And of course, if you have a good end-of-life story to share, please reach out. We are always eager to hear from you.